Composting is one of the most rewarding habits you can develop for your garden and the environment. It transforms kitchen scraps and yard waste into nutrient-rich soil, reduces landfill waste, and helps your plants flourish. But like any skill, composting comes with its own learning curve. Many beginners and even seasoned gardeners make some common mistakes that can slow down the process or even create unpleasant results. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 biggest composting mistakes to avoid so you can turn your organic waste into black gold efficiently and successfully. Whether you're just getting started or looking to perfect your composting technique, stick around for tips that will save you time and effort. Brought to you by SMART-AGRI Hub. Let's jump right into the first major mistake: neglecting the balance of green and brown materials. Composting relies on a healthy mix of greens and browns. Greens include materials like fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and fresh grass clippings. They're full of nitrogen. Browns are things like dry leaves, straw, cardboard, and wood chips, rich in carbon. If you add too much green, your pile can become soggy, smelly, and attract pests. Too much brown, and the pile will be dry and slow to decompose. The trick is to aim for roughly a 2:1 ratio of browns to greens by volume. Each time you add a bucket of kitchen scraps, cover it with 2 buckets of shredded newspaper or dry leaves. Always remember, compost thrives on diversity and balance. Mistake number 2 is forgetting to aerate your compost. Composting is an aerobic process, meaning it needs oxygen to work efficiently. If your pile is left untouched, it can become compacted, cutting off airflow. This leads to anaerobic decomposition, where microbes work without oxygen, and that's when you get that rotten, unpleasant odor nobody wants. To avoid this, take a garden fork or compost aerator and turn your pile every 1 to 2 weeks. This action mixes up the materials, introduces oxygen, and helps the beneficial microbes do their job faster. If you're using a compost tumbler, give it a spin regularly. Proper aeration doesn't just speed up composting, it also keeps your pile healthy and smelling earthy, not offensive. The third biggest mistake is composting the wrong materials. Not everything organic belongs in the compost bin. Stay away from meat, dairy, oily foods, and cooked leftovers. These materials break down slowly, can attract rodents, and often create foul odors. Also avoid composting diseased plants, weeds that have gone to seed, or pet waste, as these can introduce pathogens or persistent weeds into your garden soil. Stick to safe, compost-friendly inputs like fruit and veggie peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, shredded paper, grass clippings, and dry leaves. If you're ever in doubt, ask yourself, will this material break down naturally? Will it cause problems for my pile or my garden? When in doubt, leave it out. Mistake number 4 is letting your compost pile dry out or become too wet. Moisture is essential for decomposition, but the balance is key. A compost pile should feel like a wrung-out sponge, damp but not soggy. If your pile is too dry, the microbes will slow down or stop working, and decomposition will stall. If it's too wet, you'll create a slimy, anaerobic mess. To maintain the right moisture, check your pile every week. If it's dry, add a bit of water and more greens. If it's soggy, turn the pile to add air and mix in more browns to absorb excess moisture. Covering your pile with a tarp during heavy rain can also help regulate moisture. Remember, the ideal composting environment is moist and well aerated. The 5th and final mistake is having unrealistic expectations about time. Composting is a natural process, and it can take anywhere from a few months to a year, depending on your method, materials, and climate. Many people get discouraged if their pile isn't breaking down as fast as they hoped. Speeding up composting is possible, but it requires regular turning, careful material balance, and the right moisture levels. Don't be tempted to shortcut the process by adding chemical accelerators or harvesting your compost too soon. Finished compost should be dark, crumbly, and earthy smelling, with no recognizable food scraps or yard waste. Patience is key. Nature knows what it's doing, and your efforts will pay off. Let's recap the 5 biggest composting mistakes to avoid. First, always balance your greens and browns. Second, don't forget to aerate your pile regularly. Third, be careful about what you add. Avoid meat, dairy, and diseased plants. Fourth, keep your pile moist but not soggy. And fifth, be patient and let the process work at its own pace. Avoiding these pitfalls will set you on the path to composting success. If you're serious about turning kitchen and garden waste into a valuable resource, remember that composting is as much an art as it is a science. Monitor your pile, adjust as needed, and trust the process. Over time, you'll develop a feel for what your compost needs, and you'll be rewarded with rich, life-giving soil for your garden beds and potted plants. Here are a few bonus tips to boost your composting game. Chop or shred larger items before adding them to your pile. Smaller pieces break down faster. Layer your materials if possible, starting with coarse browns at the bottom to encourage airflow. If you live in a small space, consider a worm bin or bokashi system for efficient indoor composting. And always keep learning. Every garden and compost bin is different, and you'll discover what works best for you. For more smart agriculture tips, tricks, and sustainable gardening ideas, stay tuned to SMART-AGRI Hub. Whether you're a backyard gardener, an urban farmer, or just beginning your composting journey, we're here to help you grow smarter and greener. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to share it with fellow gardeners, leave your composting questions in the comments, and subscribe for more eco-friendly advice. Remember, every banana peel and leaf you compost brings us one step closer to a healthier planet. Happy composting!